Hi, folks. This is Dr. Eric Fields, and today I'm talking about why it can be so difficult for your financial institution or organization to identify somebody with a severe gambling addiction. A lot of times, people falsely assume that individuals that struggle with compulsive gambling and make poor, irresponsible, and reckless decisions with their own money would do the same thing at work, especially in job roles where they are handling other people's money, the organization's money, and making financial decisions and investment picks. What I have found is that there are so many high functioning people with gambling addiction that can really compartmentalize their problematic, out of control gambling behavior from the day to day job role that they do. To highlight just how interesting this is, this phenomenon, there are many, many people with a gambling addiction, and I would say the great majority of them who only have a problem with one type of gambling. I can't tell you how many times I've had a patient with a sports betting issue who, from time to time, will go to Vegas, play slot machines, blackjack, poker, has no issue whatsoever with those other games. And once you know, I've found so many individuals who are in the complete opposite situation where they are addicted to poker and they are out of control with it and reckless. But they'll do a football fantasy league for money, or they'll do some sports betting or some other kind of gambling, and they have no issue with it whatsoever. People with gambling addiction get very emotionally attached to a very specific type of gambling. So while we can make a generalization and say that so often their ego is involved in them thinking that they're really good at this, they know how to check their ego to some degree to say that I know I'm not going to be good at every kind of gambling. And that actually kind of, exacerbates the problem because they are so laser focused on this one type that they feel like they're going to become an expert with it because that's the only kind of gambling that they do and the only kind of expertise that they really have. And so this really compounds the issue, making them feel extra confident and extra sure that they're good at this. And so, very often, this doesn't interfere as much with their money making decisions in their job role because they can compartmentalize and they can say that this is different. Investing is different, right? Stock trading is different from what I'm doing at home betting on sports teams. And they're more careful a lot of times, these high functioning people, with the decisions that they make at work. They understand that there are very real consequences to making haphazard decisions with the institution's money. So you might be saying at this point, well, then what the heck do I need to worry about? Well, here's what you need to worry about. Their gambling addiction absolutely impacts their job performance in general, not so much in them making really reckless financial decisions, but because many times they're coming to work with a lack of significant sleep because they've been up gambling all night, Emotionally, they are not in a good place at all because more times than not, they've lost a sizable amount of money. Can you imagine having to go and work a full day knowing that you just blew $10,000 the night before? Can you even comprehend how that can really impact your mental state, your energy level? So, this is what's happening. What's happening is their performance is suboptimal and many times far from their true potential. They are not going to be spotted so easily because many times they're working for these very large institutions. Think Goldman Sachs, JP Morgan, who have thousands and thousands of employees, and there's only so much oversight that can be done. And so if an employee's performance has dropped, let's say 30% or 25% because of their gambling addiction, that's not going to be so easily detectable, right? Like if they're making major financial errors or they're making really irresponsible and reckless financial decisions costing the company a lot of money, then yeah, you'd spot them very easily. But they are able to separate their gambling behavior from their financial behavior when they're in their job role at work. And here's the other thing, many times when you hire someone, they could have a gambling addiction that has been, with them for years. And so when they start working for you, that's the only performance that you know from that person. You don't realize that they have this gambling addiction, and what you see as this is their typical performance is actually nowhere near their full potential. So, in a sense, you're getting fooled. If it was that easy to detect addiction, then there would be so few people who had a job and who were employed that was struggling with some kind of compulsive behavior. But I will tell you that my practice primarily focuses with high functioning people. And what a high functioning person basically connotates is somebody that is holding down a job, and maybe they're not getting like the best performance reviews, but they're doing enough to not get fired. Makes me think of a movie, Office Space. So this is not as uncommon as you think. It's much more the rule rather than the exception that high functioning people don't ever get detected, and the company or institution or organization is losing a lot of money every year from these employees, from this minority amount of employees. You're talking about a small percentage of your employees, relatively speaking, right? Let's say like 10%, right? But the money that they're costing these institutions is sizable. So this video is really designed to highlight how the assumption that if I had a compulsive gambler working for me, I would be able to spot them like that because in this job role, they are working with money and making decisions about money. And if they're a compulsive gambler, they're not good at making decisions with money. Therefore, they're going to be making lots of major errors here. And that just isn't the case, not in my experience. This is Dr. Eric Fields, and if you think that your institution or organization is really suffering because of compulsive gambling, if you have a suspicion that this may very well be a reality, please reach out to me today. Otherwise, I hope that you all found this video helpful. Let me know in the comments section, like it, and I'll see you soon.